YouTube final community, Diana Ross and the Supremes fans, random people on the internet. My name is Giggens, and we're here today to talk about Volume 3, Greatest Hits Volume 3. There you go. Came out December 18th, 1969. It's a great album. It's a great Greatest Hits album. It hit number 31 on the Billboard Top 200. It's an excellent reflection of where the group was at this point. You know, it covers the last couple of years Diana was in the group, 1967 to 69. And they had some humongous hits at this point. They really did. I mean, she left on a high note. I mean, the last song that she was a part of was Someday We'll Be Together. And it's almost like a sad way to go out because it's such a sweet-sounding song. It was meant to be your first single. Anyway, we'll get to that stuff. But this is such a great reflection of who they were, where they were going, the sounds that were changing and how they were keeping up with them. And then literally what was going to happen next. Like, was going to be something completely different without Diana. So a little bit of backstory behind this album, like the events leading up to the release of this album. 67 saw a lot of changes at Motown. A lot of groups got renamed. Smokey Robinson and the Miracles, Martha Reeves and the Vandellas, Diana Ross and the Supremes. David Ruffin really wanted David Ruffin and the Temptations, but that one did not fly. Anyways, because of so much effort put on Diana, you know, Berry Gordy was like nuts about her, just really wanted her to get a solo career going as early as 1966. Because of that, Florence Ballard, who basically started this group, felt like she was really put in the back burner, really put, like, just forgotten about, and it really bothered her. And she sank into a horrible depression. She was drunk so much, she was just having an awful time, to the point where they asked her, they felt like they needed to ask her to leave. They had a meeting at one point where they introduced Cindy to the band, and Cindy Birdsong, and this was in April of 67. And so for the next couple of months, Cindy was in the group. Florence wasn't really fired, but she was kind of asked to quit. During this time, they found out that Cindy was actually still under contract with Patti LaBelle's group, and so they couldn't really have her, so they brought Flo back in the group for a couple of months, where she kind of cleaned up her act a little bit, but then got really irate one night after she saw another trunk with a fourth person's, gear in there. Soon learned that Cindy, why can't I say her name? Cindy was basically training to be a Supreme and watching their routine and getting everything down. This led Flo to be super upset. She got really drunk. They went on stage. She had a couple of antics, and Barry was like, sorry, but you got to go. Which is super sad because Flo was such a great member of that group. And then she tragically died so young in the 70s. It was just like, her story gets really sad after she leaves this group. But, so they brought Cindy in. Cindy, why can't I not say her name? Cindy Birdsong. So they brought Cindy in, and, she was a great addition to the group, too. She sounded fantastic, and they did a handful of huge hits while she was in the group. But the thing is, while she was there, and of course Mary being there, too, they got replaced by session singers constantly in the studio. They would do live, and they'd, do all their performances as the actual Supremes, but on record, it was basically Diana Ross with backup singers, and that upset them a lot. And most of this album is kind of like that. Cindy isn't even on this thing. She's not even on this thing, which is sad because she had a great voice. So it opens up with Reflections, which was a number 2 smash hit for them. And this song is just so groovy. It's got those trippy sound effects, the synths, a really, really fascinating chords that transition from desperate to absolute joy. There's so much of a roller coaster ride within this song, which justifies its hitness, if you will, because there's so much going on. It's bordering on that psychedelic feel of the time, but it's still super digestible at the same time. It's not completely foreign. There's just enough new to keep it like, oh, what's this? Oh, it's the Supremes. It's a new sound from them. Parts of this are familiar, but parts of it are new. That's definitely how you write a hit single. So it worked super well for them. Love Is Here and Now You're Gone. I love this song. Such a sing-songy, bouncy song. I love the talking moments from Diana. You really get like such a bit of flair, a bit of personality, a little bit of insight to what's happening to the narrator of this track. It's just a string-laden head bobber of a song. It's a total classic, and who doesn't love a good harpsichord? Someday We'll Be Together. I mentioned this before. This was actually the last number 1 song of the 60s. That's pretty cool. But you know, if you could put the feelings of longing and endearment and sentimental vibes into music, this is it. That's what that song is. It's sweet and romantic, it's hopeful and incredibly calm, you know, in its assurance. It's such a confidently calm song where like it knows what's going to happen here. One of my favorites by the group and a #1 hit for them, and it was meant to be Diana's breakout solo single, but you know, the last song that the Supremes had together with Diana really didn't do well in the charts. And Barry was like, all right, well, we got to do something so they go out on a high note with Diana still there. And so they did that one. Love Child comes next, a truly deep song with storytelling that comes to life. This was a massive seller for them. You know, they had a song called Some Things You Never Get Used To, which is the next track on here. And that song, while it's a great song, it just didn't take off the way Motown wanted it to. And so they kind of felt like they had to change things up a little bit. So they introduced another new sound for them with Love Child. And that song was an absolute smash hit. And it sold humongously well. It knocked Hey Jude off the top of the charts for a little while there. It was a massive seller. Hell of a song. You just feel for the main character. You know, that lead guitar line, the chimes on it, the shuffling percussion. It's an excellent track. So well produced. And then, like I said, Some Things You Never Get Used To. I love this song. I mean, the chorus hook on this thing is worth the price of admission alone. The bridge is fantastic. The thing is, like, it wasn't really breaking much new ground. It wasn't striking a new sound, whereas, like, with Reflections, they really did do that. So I think with a song like this, it kind of just, like, petered out a lot faster than they expected it to, because it had an older sound. If that song came out in 1965, #1 hit, no problem, all day long. And Forever Came Today, a little bit of Reflections feel on this one with the eerie whistling, the huge horns, and some great background vocals. The syrupy strings on this thing really transformed the song to sound kind of like an older song of theirs, kind of like their older material. But overall, it's kind of a loud, jamming track at moments, and it picks up where it needs to be, and it goes down where it needs to be. It's one of my faves on the album. It's such a super cool song. Side 2 opens up with In and Out of Love, and this kind of follows the typical Supreme sound. Great horn section, a happy song about sad stuff. You know, it's a happy sounding song, but lyrically it's definitely sad. But it's a great song. It's one of those tracks like you kind of forget about it, and I feel like when it comes to Supreme's greatest hits albums, it pops up once in a while for the CDs that I've had anyway. But nice to have it on here. In and Out of Love is also significant because it's the last song to feature Flo on here. You know, so that's kind of nice that she's on this album as well. The Happening comes next, and this song is so good. It's such a happy, buoyant, joyous song. You know, it's super playful. You know, and the whole "it happened to me and it can happen to you." It's such a catchy, almost TV show theme song hook. It's excellent. You know, the groovy build up to get to that key change is great. It's just a swirling, fun ride of a song. And it was a #1 hit. It was their last single release as the Supremes before they got rechristened as Diana Ross and the Supremes. But man, love that song. I'm Living in Shame. This was basically Love Child Part 2. It was meant to be the second part of the story. And the rhythm guitar on this song is relentless. Diana sounds wonderful. She really stretches her voice in parts of this song. The chimes on the chorus accent the vocals really well. And again, great storytelling on this one too. No Matter What Sign You Are. This is one of my favorite songs they ever did. A sitar is on this because 60s. And I like the vocal squeals they have and the little shrieks they do here and there. The astrological shout-outs are great. It's just a groovy song for the times. It's a very 60s astrological, hey man, what's your sign kind of stuff, you know. Just shy of the top 30, this one hit number 31, I believe, on the charts. But it's got a wonderful flow, energetic vocal performances. It's an album standout on this thing for sure. It should have been a bigger hit. It's definitely got all the marks to be a good single. It should have been in the top 20 with no problem, but hell of a song. And the last one on here, written by Smokey, the composer. Bongos and hi-hat, bouncy drums, the wah-wah guitar, and just a really sweet vocal from everyone involved. Another song that should have been a larger hit for them. I just love the chorus vibes. It's endearing and it's sweet. It's just overall a comfortable song. A great closer choice for sure. Hit number 27 on the charts when it came out in 1969. But here's the back cover. I love these back covers from the 60s. They're just so plain and simple. Here's the songs, here's the running order, that's it. The little Motown logo at the top. And let me show you the record here. Classic Motown label. One of my favorite labels ever. So that's it. Diana Ross and the Supremes, Greatest Hits, Volume 3. I love this album. It's so cool to have a release that just focuses on those last 2 years that Diana was in the group. They made some of the best songs in their career during that time. And I know that Mary and Flo and Cindy, or Cindy, why could I not say her name? I know they're not really on this thing too much, but in spirit, they're obviously on here, and they were playing these songs live, and they were on TV shows. I mean, they were obviously super important parts of the group, because without them, they would just be Diana Ross. So, I mean, they are the Supremes, even if they're not singing on a lot of these songs. But that's just how it was back then, with so many bands. It was just studio practice. That's just how it was done. Doesn't make it right by any stretch of the imagination, but I just adore this album. It's cool to have songs on here like No Matter What Sign You Are and The Composer, Some Things You Never Get Used To, which I think is a great song. It's just an upbeat, happy, fun song. But then the huge ones, Love Is Here, Reflections, Love Child, The Happening, Someday We'll Be Together. There isn't a bad song in the bunch. So if you find this thing, pick it up. It sounds really, really good. You know, beyond the fact that we have these songs probably many times over, this particular copy, for some reason, sounds fantastic. It's a very, very clean top end, excellent bass. It's a really dynamic listen. So I highly recommend finding a copy if you can find one. But yeah, I'm a sucker for greatest hits albums. You know, if you've watched my channel over the years, you'll know that I like talking about greatest hits albums. I'm fascinated by them, because who picked the songs? Who put the running order? Who picked the album cover? You know, how did the songs do on the chart? How did this do on the charts? You know, like, it's just cool to see like the culmination of efforts put together in one package. It's something I've always been interested in, so I will always review greatest hits albums because I like them. Simple as that. There you go. My name is Giggens. This has been Diana Ross on the Supremes Greatest Hits Volume 3, released in 1969. And literally less than a month later, Diana left the group. Unbelievable. Truly unbelievable. Anyways, that's it. Let me know what your thoughts are on this thing. We'll talk about it in the comments. Can't wait to talk about the Supremes with you guys. And yeah, take care of yourselves. See you soon. My name is Giggens. And that's that. You can click the video off now. I got nothing else. I'm gonna probably sit on the couch now or something. But all right, I'll see you later. Bye.